Hey guys, welcome to the first ever Single Not Alone. This is going to be a weekly thing, I hope, for guys who are going through divorce and for guys who are single fathers going through divorce. And we're just going to talk about, you know, uh, how to deal with divorce, some of the feelings you're going to be feeling or might have already been felt, how to deal with the kids, how to deal with certain situations that are popping up with the kids. Um, there's a lot to go over and a lot to deal with, and you're not alone. I know a lot of guys who feel like you're alone. I definitely felt like I was alone throughout most of my time, and it was rough. It's going to be rough, and it's not the easiest thing in the world to have to deal with or to look through, but definitely is something that we're all going to have to deal with. So I'm going to start with my own personal story here, and then eventually I hope to be able to get into a situation where you guys can chat in some questions or we can discuss some situations. And so my marriage, we lasted for about 12 years. We dated on and off for, years prior to that. I the first moment I saw her, I felt like, she was going to be my forever. Uh, and, as we were dating and such, pretty far down the road on our dating, I cheated on her. We were having a really, really rough patch, and I met someone who really is just a very special, wonderful person. Things didn't wind up never being with her, but she still was a very nice, kind, good person, and I never told my ex about it until we were in therapy years and years later. And she always felt like something happened, and she always believed something happened, even though she had no proof. And things just never really went back to normal. Um, Talking to a therapist, which was probably the best decision I ever made for myself personally. I really realized that I never forgave myself for that. I really beat myself up for years for doing that. And we went to couples therapy for a long time. We tried three, four different therapists, and it came down to it that things weren't going to work out. We separated for like a year. One point, got back together, and then I came home from work one day, and she tells me that she was in love with the nanny, and the nanny had been living with us for a little over a year at this point, and that she didn't want to hide it and she didn't want to lie to me about it. And I looked over at her and I was like, okay, it's you're gonna tell me you love somebody else. I can't argue with that. I can't fight for that. And plus, we pretty much figured that we weren't. We both knew it was over for years. We were staying together to try it for the kids, and I was depressed. I was definitely heartbroken inside. I didn't show it, even though I knew it wasn't going to last. I knew it was going to be over. But to feel that feeling that hey, the family is gone. The family's not there anymore. What are you going to do? And I moved downstairs and I slept in the guest room, and the nanny moved upstairs and took on the master bedroom. And for financial reasons, partially, I could afford to get an apartment, a small one, but I could definitely afford to get an apartment. But my job, I travel. Excuse me. I'm on the road a lot, and I wanted to be with my kids as much as humanly possible. So I decided I was gonna live in the guest room. I was just gonna stay there, and waking up every day and seeing the two of them kissing and holding hands, and I wasn't gonna make them stop doing it, even though it hurt me, because it's not fair to them, but also I still needed to be with my kids. I needed to be around them. I didn't want to be gone, and it was hard. It was hard. I beat myself up quite a bit, and a lot of guys said, "Oh, you're a wussy. How could you not throw her out?" Well, the kids. It's all about the kids. It's not about me anymore. It's not about us. It's got to be about them, and that's what really I had to focus on. And they said, "Well, why don't you just move out?" Well, I will move out. I told everybody, when I'm ready, and when I think the kids are ready. And so I stayed for 2 years, dealing with that and trying to be there. And going through all that, you go through this range of emotion. You go through this feelings of you know, who am I? I'm not this couple anymore. What am I? Who am I? What do I like? And that moment really hit me one day when I was home alone. The kids were upstairs sleeping, and she went out. And I sat on the couch and I turned on the television. I looked at the recorder and I realized that every single show on that recorder I hated. I couldn't stand them. It was all that reality type show of housewives and Vanderpump and all this other stuff. And I was like, I can't watch this. I can't. This is like I'm losing brain cells. I can't do it. And so, I'm flipping through the channels and I came across a show that kind of gave me hope. And it was kind of an amazing thing. I looked at the show and the show was Counting Cars. And, that might sound crazy, but, listening to Danny talk about the excitement in his voice when he talks about the cars and the history of the cars and the love of the cars and how cool they are. And don't get me wrong, I don't love every car he makes. I'm not into the scallops, and I'm not into the lowrider kind of scene. I'm definitely into the hot rods and the classic cars. The older the better. But it just reminded me that I used to love cars. To me, they're like works of art driving down the road. And motorcycles. I used to own motorcycles. I had 3 at one time. I had another one that I actually traded in for a car for my ex-wife when we were dating. And so, I remembered. I was like, wow, these are things that used to make me really happy. And so I watched the show, and it gave me hope. It gave me that belief that everything's going to be okay. You're going to find who you are sooner or later. Go through the morning. To believe that it's over. And I think one of the best things for me was seeing her together with this person. Just constantly reminded me that it's done. I don't want to be with her anymore, and she definitely doesn't want to be with me anymore. And it it's just better that way. And we have a tough time a lot. Co-parenting is definitely not the easiest thing in the world. And I was living in her house this whole time, and it's kind of a back and forth whether or not I thought it was really right, because yes, I'm with the kids, and the kids don't have to change houses back and forth, and the kids don't have to see that. But then again, the kids have to get ready for that day when I'm going to leave. And then is it going to be easier or harder for them? Because, well, dad's lived downstairs for the past 2 years. Why does he have to move out? Why can't he just stay here with us? Well, I can't. I mean, I need my own space. And, living in that house, you realize that you do need your own space. Her saying, well, this is, yes, it's our house, but, you have to do this way, and you need to do that way, and this has to be my way, and that has to be my way. And I was like, well, I'm tired of it being your way. I need my way. I need to find out who I am and what I like. Am I going to do the dishes every night after every meal? Am I going to do laundry once a week? Am I going to throw everything into one load? Or am I going to separate it all? I mean, it sounds silly and stupid, but these are important things to make up who you are and who I am. And 2 years went down the road, a little bit longer, and I dated a little bit here and there, and things really didn't work out so well. And I met an incredible woman, and I decided, well, it's time to move out. Any woman who's willing to deal with what my baggage is a special woman, and I need to move out. I need to really start finding who I am so I can be with her the right way. And I got an apartment, and I brought the kids with me, and I had them look at a few apartments with me, and they all agreed that hey, this is it. I have 2 boys. I have a 10 and a 6, and they saw this apartment, and they're like, Dad, this is it. We like this place. And I'm like, all right, well, I can afford it, and my girlfriend liked it. I'm like, well, you know what? This is it. This is gonna be our place. And so we moved in, and just after I moved in, they decided that they didn't want to see me anymore. They didn't like me. They didn't want to be with me. They didn't want to be near me. They didn't want to hear my voice. I tried to call them on the phone. They wouldn't even talk to me. And it was hard. It was rough. When your 10-year-old gets on the phone real fast and says, you're a liar, you're a cheater, and I don't want to talk to you. and you grab that phone and you get her on the phone and you rip into her like no tomorrow. And her defense is, well, it's true. And I was like, well, it doesn't matter. This isn't the things you say to your kids. The kids don't need to hear this kind of stuff. This is ridiculous. Are you crazy? We weren't divorced yet, so I really didn't have any legal recourse. And it was hard. It was hard to hear, and I had choices. I can drive over there and force them to see me, or I could, turn around and choose not to, and just walk away with my tail between my legs. And I chose to call them every day, and every other day. Sometimes, and sometimes it was just twice a week because of my travel schedule. I'm on a plane so much, and slowly but surely it broke down, and so slowly but surely they'd come back, and they did, and I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it was going to happen. My girlfriend and a couple of good friends. My buddy Dave, his friend Tammy, and a couple other good friends. They helped me through this. They pushed me through it, and it was hard. She threatened to take them from me legally. Oh God, at least 4 times, 5 times, and that paranoia got in my chest, and I had a hard time breathing, and I was angry, and I was frustrated, and I was confused and paranoid, and going every which way, and you know whether or not that happened or not. Now I realize isn't the point. And now I have a pretty good relationship. My 10-year-old and I were pretty good. Um, there was a lot of things I had to work on about myself. I was angry. I was definitely internally angry, and I wasn't showing it, and I was trying to hide it, and I didn't want to admit it to anyone how angry I was about the divorce, about so many other things. And once I started to admit it, that I was angry and I was hurt, um, I had the ability to give it up and just let it go and be like, hey, it's not worth it. Why am I going to be angry about anything? I mean, I have to move on. I can't focus on the past. I can't change yesterday. So I'm not going to look at yesterday. And I have to live today the best that I can. The only thing I'm going to change is tomorrow. And if for some reason tomorrow doesn't change, I have the day after that and every day after that. And that's all I can do is change tomorrow, change me the best way I can. And I fail at changing me all the time. Uh, it's not easy to change who you are. It's not easy to change what you are. And people say, "Oh, you just make that decision." Well, no, no, you really don't. You have to change your ways of thought. The way you were brought up. You have to change the way you believe in things, and it isn't easy. It isn't fun, but it's worth it in the end. I spent a lot of days listening to my kids tell me they hate me, and I spent a lot of days with my kids telling me, we're not coming. We don't want to come. We're not going to come. My oldest tells me, I'm going to call the police if you try to come over here, and that's going to be it. I want to take you to court, and I want to make sure that I don't have to come to you if I don't want to come to you. Um, and a lot of the words he uses at certain times when he's angry with me are definitely not his words, definitely not words of a 10-year-old. And you know uh, it's not easy to hear, but I don't fault him for it, and I don't get angry anymore over it. I expect it, and I accept it, and all I can do is show him that I am here. And slowly but surely he's starting to trust me. Slowly but surely he's starting to believe in me. And that's the best thing about a dad, is by doing that. And my 6-year-old told me just a few days ago, I don't want to be here anymore, Dad. I don't like you, and I don't like your girlfriend, and I don't want her around. And I looked at him and I said, buddy, she's going to be around. um, I don't know how else to tell you. She's going to be a part of the family because daddy wants her to be around. Daddy loves her, and daddy doesn't want to be without her. um, and buddy, daddy loves you, and daddy doesn't want to be without you either. And I really hope that we can figure something out, because it's the only way to be a family. It's the only way to be together. And he didn't like it. He screamed and punched me and kicked me and bit me. And, he calmed down and we talked about it some more. And we talked about it some more. And, he's okay now. Now when he lays down, he goes, can she lay with me? Can she be with me? Sure, absolutely. Definitely she can. And I encourage it 100%. My older one too. He's like, Daddy, can she lay with me tonight? Sure, she can. Anything to help build that relationship a little bit stronger. And they're starting to see me in a different light. They're starting to see me more calm. They're starting to see me less angry. I still raise my voice when I have to, but maybe 20% as much as I used to. I don't. When I used to get angry, I used to slam my hand down on the table or something to get attention and to really kind of get the fear of God into them. I don't do that anymore. I used to stand over them and hunch over them and almost intimidate them, and I don't do that anymore. Now I get down on one knee and I talk to them face to face, man to man, and I tell them like it is. I tell them it's honest and harsh and true, and I'm still me. I'm just a little bit lighter me than what I used to be. And going through the feelings of having your child not want to be with you is another whole set of emotions, another whole whirlwind of hell. I don't mind talking about with some people who are going through it and going through the divorce process. It took us 3.5 years to get the divorce, and I finally gave in. I was like, hey, if this is what you want to get it done, it's yours. I don't care. I'm done. I don't care. It doesn't matter, especially when it comes to the money. When I looked at the money and I said, well, she's asking for this, but it's going to cost me this to fight it. This was going to be more than this. So what's the point? And the lawyer's like, no, you can't give in to that. Well, of course not, because you're going to get that money. Like, why would I do that? That doesn't make any sense. My mom, well, you're giving them too much. Well, I might be giving you too much, but if it makes her feel better as their mother, that's my job. I'm not doing things to help her. I'm doing things to help them. And if it's a little bit more money to help them be secure because she feels she's safer, I'm good with that. It has nothing to do with her. Whether or not it helps her is irrelevant to me. What matters is if it helps them. If she asks me to buy something because she can't afford it, but it helps my kids, I'll probably do it. Not because it's for her, because it's for them. And that's how I really train my mind to think now. Is it for them? And so many times my girlfriend looks at me and says, hey, this, you're giving in to her. Why are you doing this for her? And I look at her and say, it's not for her. It benefits the boys. It benefits my 2 boys. That's all that matters to me. That's it. If it helps them, it's good. If I can afford it. If I can't afford it, I understand. But if I can afford it, I'm going to do anything for my kids. And I don't mean like, the taking them to Disney or buying them this, not that kind of stuff, but other stuff, that they may need, that she should buy, but maybe she can't. And during this whole crazy time of Corona, she thought she went in to get tested. They lost her test, blah, 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 blah. She swore she had it. She was in quarantine. I went food shopping for her. I went food shopping for her so my boys could see that their dad cares about their mother, theirs. It's for them. If they weren't involved, I'd be like, hey, call Postmates. Go ahead. That's they overcharged. Well, that's not my issue. I mean, I can't help you with that. But my job isn't to take care of you. I went over to her house, God, for a year, mowed her lawn in the backyard because she couldn't afford to do it. And why? To show my kids that, hey, your dad's a bigger man than most. Your dad is a better man. Because your dad's going to put his feelings aside for this person that they may not understand that part yet, but what they see is their dad helping somebody, helping their mother. And yeah, they've come to me and said, God, we wish you two were together, Dad. We wish you two would get back together. And I look them right down in the face and I say, that will never happen. Your daddy and your mommy cannot be together. It just doesn't work. We're not happy together. And everyone deserves happiness in this life. And I've talked to a few guys who go through some hard times, and they talk about taking their own life, and I try to tell them, how's that going to help your kids? Who's that going to benefit? Even if you don't have kids, who's it going to benefit? You going to let her win, or are you going to stick it out and show that you are the better man? Are you going to take your life, and if you have kids, how are you going to help them raise them? How are you going to help be there for them? And my buddy said, well, I'm not, because she doesn't let me see them right now. She might not let you see them now. But tomorrow, that could change. A month, it can change. 6 years, it could change. I know a kid who didn't meet his father until he was 19 years old. Not by his father's choice, by his mother's choice. But he came back. And he was there, and he got to meet him. And that day could happen for everybody. So this was just the first installment, a little taste of some of the things I want to talk about, I want to get to. It's part of my personal story. I'm an open book, guys. Whatever you want to hear about, whatever you want to talk about, I'm willing to talk about it. But keep in mind, I try to keep a pretty positive attitude. And, I think everyone should. It's only going to benefit you in the end. Let go of the anger, and be there for your kids. Just love them, and let them know they don't want to talk to you. Cool. Call up anyway. Call that number. Hey, I want to hear you tell them Daddy's on the phone. He wants to talk to you. Dad, I don't want to talk to him. Okay. Tell him, please. I want to hear you tell them I love them and I respect their wishes. When you do that, I'll hang up. He loves you, respect your wishes. I don't care. Okay. Click. They heard it. Step 1. Let them hear it every day. Any day you can. When I'm on the road, I don't talk to my kids for 3-4 days. It kills me when they're with her. They don't call me. I make sure they call her every day, though. I grab that phone. They call her every single day. And then, again, that's to benefit them. To show them that their dad's a bigger guy. Their dad's the guy who makes sure everything works out. And we have a lot to cover on divorce and being a single parent. And I hope to get to it and hope I can help some of you guys out. So I hope this helps. And I look forward to hearing from you guys. The YouTube page is going to be called Single Not Alone 2. Single Not Alone 2. Someone already took Single Not Alone. So Single Not Alone 2 is going to be the YouTube channel. We're going to do this just like this. We're gonna stream it, and I'll be able to answer questions. And Single Not Alone 2 at gmail.com. If you want to email me some things you want to hear about, talk about, or you want me to talk about personally, I will change your name. It's not a problem. We'll change names on every story I get, so no one knows it's you. And the more we talk about it as guys, the more we can help each other get through it all, and make sure that things like people committing suicide and people even thinking about suicide, it doesn't have to happen. And it doesn't have to happen that we're alone, because we're not. We're all together in this. We've all been there. Some of us have been there longer than others. Some of us are just starting out. But together we can get through it all. So look forward to hearing from you guys. All the best. Have a good night.